Well, hello, greetings, my friends. Bob Baker here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world and when you're watching this. I appreciate you tuning in. In this video, I'm going to be answering some questions and addressing some topics that were submitted by viewers just like you. We're going to be talking about breaking through negative patterns, how to deal with maybe anxiety and panic attacks, how to just overcome some repeating negative patterns. Also, being and dealing with self-worth issues and taking care of yourself as opposed to always focusing on other people. And so that's what's in store here. As always, when you tune in, I always like to know who's watching. I have my live chat set up here, and whether you're watching live or whether you're watching the replay, just pop in and say hi. Let me know where you're watching from. And we'll have some fun doing this. And so before though I get to answering those questions and those topics, I just want to remind you about a couple of things. There are two videos in particular that I've published in recent months that are doing really well, like above and beyond the normal amount of views. I just wanted to remind you of these things in case you haven't watched them yet. So one is one that's the more recent one. It's like 3 weeks old, but it's basically about New Year's resolutions and 2020. And even though it's still January, so you may still be in that let's make this year. And we're also at the beginning of a new decade. So if you haven't heard that yet, it's like a New Year's resolutions for 2020. It's from right around like the last day or two of December. I posted that. And it's already got nearly 100,000 views. And so a lot of people are really resonating with that one. And so if you haven't watched it yet, look that up. Let's go to on the channel, go to the videos tab and scroll down. It's in like reverse chronological order. So you'll find it has 2020 in the thumbnail, but listen to that if you haven't. And really any time of the year, it's probably going to lose some velocity after, January passes, because people aren't going to be searching for New Year's resolutions. But as I mentioned in the video, it's something you can actually listen to at any time of the year as you're kind of looking forward and plotting out the next few months or whatever, or the next 12 months of your life. The other one that I want to point out that's really blowing me away is something I published about 2 months ago, I think sometime in late November, that the 7-day money manifestation challenge. And this, I had high hopes for it. I thought it might, be popular, but it's kind of just gone beyond my expectations. But it's basically, if you haven't listened to it, and if you have, let me know in the comments what you think of it. But basically, it's something that I ask you to commit to, the 7 days of listening to it at least once a day. Also, there's a link where you can. I put the specific affirmations for that money manifestation challenge in the description, but I also added a Dropbox link to a PDF that you can print off and take with you or pin up in your home or wherever you're going to see it, or at work, where you'll see it on a regular basis. But this one, I'm encouraging you, again, just to commit to 7 days. It's just 1 week, so it's not a big burden. But to really not only listen to something in the morning and then move on with your day, but to repeatedly come back to these and pull out those affirmations and repeat them throughout the day, and then look for signs of abundance. And this is like tangible abundance, money in hand, money in the bank, which is just above just simply improving your mindset is important. But there's thousands of comments, and I encourage you to go there daily and just report your progress and whatever it is. So it's encouraging to listen, to read those comments and just see all the wins that people are experiencing. I just want to like warn you or caution you not to get into a comparison game, because in the video, I encourage you to post your wins, no matter if it's a penny, if it's a dime, a quarter that you find, all the way up to hundreds or thousands of dollars, or freelance gigs that you happen to have landed. It's all good. So if you're at a lower level, don't feel bad, because it's all signs of abundance. But if you haven't checked out that one, I encourage you to. It's about to hit 100,000 views in just a couple of months, which is really awesome. I'm just going to pause real quickly and say hi to some folks. Again, if you're just tuning in, post a comment, say hi, Bob. Let me know where you're watching from too. I always like to know the diversity, the global diversity of people that are here. We got Vanessa from Boston. Jeff is from Florida. Dalen is from Miami. Is it Jinga? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. From Scotland. Mary is watching from, isn't it Worcester? Like the Worcester sauce, I think. That's not, I think I'm pronouncing that right. Sukamishan from, probably butchering that name too, from Rotterdam. John from Tempe, Arizona. I was just in the Phoenix area in December and had a meetup there, John. Let's see, we got somebody from Portugal. Oh, this is awesome. Look at this. I'm hoping that I've been wanting to do more sort of semi-regular YouTube lives, and I'm just trying to find the right date and time. Saturday mornings, which is just for me, Central Time here in the U.S. are good for me, and apparently a lot of people are tuning in here. So I don't know if I'm going to do it every week, but maybe once or twice a month. The delicate Mariposa from Tampa. We got India represented. London, perhaps, also from Kumar from India. This is so cool. Liz is from Westlake Village, California. Diana from Bogota, Colombia. Hi, Janet. You said that the same Janet, I think that Powers, who comments on my Facebook page. That's awesome. Cecilia from Atlanta, Georgia. Oh, Janet's from Chicago. Cool. Maribel from San Pedro, New Jersey is in the house. Is it Yoli, perhaps? Sheila from Uganda. That is fabulous. Awesome. Oh, Worcester. That's it. I knew there was a pronunciation. Mary, thank you. It's not Worcester. It's like Worcester. That's or something like that. Worcester. Awesome. Then Susan is from Liverpool in the UK, which of course is known as being the home from the Beatles. Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying you love my energy. And yes, Janet, that is you on Facebook. I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. All right, cool. I'm gonna not get too distracted by the comments, but keep leaving them. Keep letting me know where you're watching from if you haven't chimed in yet. So yesterday, I posted on my community tab that I was going to be going live this morning, or hoping or planning to, or thinking about it, whatever. And I asked what topics, what things, questions that you had. And so I've got like 3 or 4 of them here that I'm going to try to get through and just give some advice on. And so this first one here, I'm just going to jump into this, and then I see there's a lot of activity there, but I'm going to focus on what I'm talking about and then come back to the comments in a moment here. So the first one from Teresa C is, how do you break the cycle? She writes, how do you break the cycle of thinking you aren't worthy? And this is a universal issue with a lot of people, self-worth, knowing that you have value. So she goes, how do you break the cycle of thinking you aren't worthy? So I just want to focus on that, break the cycle. The word break, I even used it, I think, in the headline of this, the title of this video. So I understand that you have you recognize. So first of all, I want to congratulate you, Teresa. And even though I'm speaking to Teresa, I'm sure a lot of you, most of you, can probably relate to just about all of these things that I'm going to be addressing. So if I'm not answering your specific question, I have a feeling you're going to be able to learn from this, or just take something away from it. That is my hope and desire this morning. And so first of all, congratulations for recognizing that there is a pattern that is not serving you, because a lot of people just live on autopilot and they don't even realize sometimes the patterns that their minds and even their bodies are going through. So you recognize that there's a pattern that's of lack of self-worth, and you want to break that pattern. That's fabulous. And so yes, it's quite normal to, you have this thing going on, you don't like it, you want to get rid of it, you want to change it. But what I would do is resist. Here's one thing. There's the different ways of approaching patterns that you recognize that are not serving you, or just emotions or feelings that you have that are not serving you. One way is to banish them, is to resist them, is to chase them out of your mental home, if you will. And if that works for you, and it can work for some people, that's awesome. But quite often, and I know there's a kind of an overused quote that what you resist persists. Again, it's more individualized. Some people can just say, screw that, I'm not doing it, get out of here, banish, and that that approach can work. Really on the person. But quite often when we do resist something and we fight against it, it does, sometimes it gives it strength. It becomes the enemy. It becomes, Darth Vader or whatever of our mental and emotional existence, and we always feel like we're fighting it. So here's another approach. Why not, instead of breaking the cycle or banishing these feelings of self-doubt or whatever, or lack of worthiness, why don't you acknowledge that it exists? Get on friendlier terms with it. So it's possible to acknowledge things that aren't serving you without fighting them, and then take action and move forward with your life in spite of them, or even with them kind of tagging along. Over the years, in my work with as an author, when I've been encouraging and mentoring and inspiring creative people, which is a big part of the work that I've done over the last 2.5 decades, or almost nearly 3 decades now, this whole thing about fear comes up. A lot of creative people in particular tend to be a little more sensitive, and so they fear putting themselves out there. They fear putting their art out. What are people going to think of them? Because artists, it's not that they're creating a widget or some kind of a commodity. It's a part of their soul. It's a part of their self-expression that they're putting out into the world. And so they're a little bit more sensitive about it, or they can be. And they have this fear. And so you hear people go, I want to be fearless. And actually, so I've interviewed tons of successful creative people and had this discussion with most of them. And they will all tell you the fear doesn't go away. There's always going to be a little voice in your head that's saying something. You're not worthy. Who do you think you are? But you acknowledge it. So if you accept the fact that maybe it's never going to go away. So maybe you will never banish it. Can you get on comfortable terms with that? And actually, it sort of diffuses it. It's not as much of the enemy when you just acknowledge it. Go, okay, cool. You're there. I acknowledge it. I hear the voice, but I got work to do. So you sit in the corner, throw in a bag of chips in your mind or whatever, and then move on with your life. So that the key is to get on friendly terms with it and try then not fighting it, acknowledging it. Cool. I have work to do, been taking baby steps and continuing to take action and not let it ruin your life. I know that's easier said than done. But I'll just say, just move forward anyway, in whatever level that you like. A lot of times people think they have to make these huge monumental leaps in achievement to be successful, but just it's baby steps, it's little habits that you do every day. So whenever those doubts, those fears come up, recognize them. And that's the first step. The first step to transformation is awareness, just monitoring your thoughts and your actions and being aware of them, instead of just being on autopilot and just thinking that's just the way you operate. But there are these programs that you're not even aware of that are kind of steering the ship, if you will, of your life. So just paying attention, and when they come up, acknowledge them instead of going, damn, there they are again, I'm going to fight this thing. Just go, oh, cool, there it is, nice, all right, go sit in the back, I got work to do. That's the way that I've approached it. And so if that helps, and this is going to tie into some of these other things. Let me just stop real quick and look at some of the newest Barbossa. I don't know if that's the name of a venue, from Ohio. Mary Rivera says, thank you so much for your videos. It made such a dramatic change in my life and my thought process. Thank you so much. I love hearing that, Mary. I appreciate that. JL is from Coolidge, Texas. Oh, let's see here. I have a new job. Oh, you says, yes. Is it Sandra lady? I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I have a new job and feeling anxiety about it. Feels uncomfortable. That's actually the topic of the next question that came in. Morocco is in the house. Sherry from Vancouver. Angela, also from West Sussex, UK. Sure. Sherry acknowledges it's a good question. Not worthy. Candace says, hi, Bob Backer. It's Baker, but that's okay. I know what you meant. That's cool. Liz asks if I'm single and straight. Yes, I think I would qualify for both of those. I do have a significant other, girlfriend of 14 years, though. So But thank you for thinking of me. She has a beautiful friend for me. Am I blushing? Candace, I'm so excited you made this live too. Fabulous. Let's Walk London says, I've heard of this. I guess what I was just describing, described as good dog and bad dog. You give the bad dog a pat and say, thank you for the warning, but I'm going to pay attention to the good dog now and assume it's almost like the angel and the devil on your shoulders, right? So I'm going to keep on going here. So this next one is about anxiety. And I don't even know this person that ran a bunch of letters together. So I don't know exactly what the name is, if it's just random letters or what. So I'm not even going to try. But here's what he or she posted. Let me get a quick drink here. How to talk yourself out of an anxiety attack before it happens or during an anxiety attack. I struggle with this a lot. I know I will be okay, but in the moment of panicking, I feel like my heart is pounding too fast and I'm going to die. That's pretty intense. I'll have to say I'm blessed that I don't really think that I've experienced like chronic anxiety or panic attacks, although I've probably been close a couple of times. They're kind of fleeting. But I think I can relate this. It kind of ties into the last thing. When it's starting to happen to you, you're not only so it's obviously it's happening in your mind. It's starting in your mind. It's something that triggers emotionally that then affects the body. It may seem like the body is doing it, but it's triggered by some kind of program or something that you're experiencing in your mind first, and the body reacts to it and tenses up. And so at first you want to, oh God, it's the same thing. You kind of want to resist it or fight it. So one thing is very simple, kind of common sense, but just breathe and acknowledge it. Depending on what the situation is, if you have a chance just to be quiet, close your eyes, take a breath, and just relax into it. And here's an important thing that I learned. Actually, I got a little story here I'm going to share with you. And then instead of resisting it, or instead of just goes, calm down. Here's something that you can try and see if this works. Again, the one thing's not going to work for everyone, but maybe there's something you haven't thought of. Breathe, acknowledge it, and then ask your body and your brain what it's trying to tell you. Because there's probably a message there. There's probably a reason, and it might even be a good reason, depending on the situation. It's probably reacting with that caveman. I forgot what part of the brain, they always talk about from hundreds of thousands of years, we were trained to react and look for the saber-toothed tiger. And we still have those reactions to this day, even though there are no saber-toothed tigers for most of us in the environment, but we still react quite often as if there are. So you might be overreacting, but I bet you there's probably a message there. I'm going to share a story with you. So a few years ago, I was with my girlfriend, and we had driven to Denver, Colorado, and we're in Rocky Mountain State Park, and you're going on these little narrow roads, and it was going higher and higher. And the scenery is just beautiful there. However, I was driving the car. And again, some of these roads are right next to like drop-offs that just go like hundreds or thousands of feet straight down. And I found myself being distracted and starting to get paranoid about, oh my God, this could be if I just went a few feet over this way, the car was plummeting. I started kind of having a little, not quite a panic attack, but just like being a little too preoccupied with thinking about what could go wrong if I drove off the edge of the cliff, or if I just, if someone else, I don't know. So I was kind of like, what it was doing was taking me out of the moment. I wasn't enjoying the natural beauty that was all around me. I was more worried about staying safe. And so I remember doing this, and I said, okay, I'm going to try this thing. And I just took a deep breath, and I said, okay, what are you trying to tell me? My body's reacting. My emotions are kicking into gear. What's the message here? And what I heard, what I told myself was, Bob, you have a long life to live. You have a lot more you want to do in this world. The world needs you. You need to stay alive. So I'm just basically, and I realized, oh, okay, you're just trying to take care of me. We're in a potentially dangerous situation, although the road is fine. I'm a good driver. So thank you for that message. As long as I pay attention and just be a little more cautious than usual, I'll be fine. And then actually that helped me relax to where I could watch the road and then enjoy the scenery at the same time. So I just had to be responsible. And by asking that question and getting that answer, it just really helped me. It dissolved or dissipated that physical and emotional thing that I was experiencing there. And so I hope that helps. Let me just check in with some comments here. Is it Ninosha from Chicago? Candace appreciates me from thank you from from Mississippi. Got my friend Sarah is there. Hi, I know Sarah. She's done one of my programs last year, one of my 30-day programs. Is it Rania? Ronia says, thank you so much for your affirmations. They helped me heal from a bad breakup. And I also especially love the one with Pookie Lee. Okay, so that's funny. Yeah, so Pookie Lee is my significant other that I mentioned earlier. And she has a very intriguing voice. And yeah, sometimes I've had her, I do feature her from time to time, as well as my friend Lisa Firestone, just to mix things up. I'm really appreciative that people like my voice. And that means a lot to me. So, the majority of my videos will feature my own voice that I record here in my home studio. But I do like to mix things up. And so I'm going to pass that on to Pookie. She's not home right now, but I'll let her know. She'll enjoy hearing that. Faze is from Folsom, California. Susan from Las Vegas. Faze says, I have the same symptoms of panic attack. Friendly offbeat. So Ellie from Albuquerque, New Mexico. I appreciate your friendly, upbeat, soft-spoken manner. Well, thank you so much. I know a lot of people. So Pookie and I hang out with a lot of people in spiritual, circles here. We have people that are energy workers and. But I have a diverse group of friends. I also have this little group of friends that I know from my improv classes that I teach. I have people from like musicians. I've lived in St. Louis, Missouri my entire life, so I have a lot of roots here. So I have different circles of friends. There are musicians, there are actors, there are creative people. There's people I've known a long time, and then there's this spiritual circle too. And a lot of people that typically do these meditations or whatever. Not all the time, but sometimes they tend to be, have that kind of guru image, or they wear robes, or they sit in some, lotus position and say namaste a lot. And that's all great and all that. But I like to approach this topic just being myself. I'm kind of like, I don't know if you consider like the everyman, so yeah, I'm just bringing myself, my own personality to this topic, and I hope it resonates with you. Let's see. Hand wash my face to the end of this. Close. Okay. All right. And all right, I got somebody here I need to take care of. Report, remove, hide, use. I'm hiding a user who's doing posting some weird stuff there. Okay. And is it Lauren says, oh, I love this and all the positivity. Your voice is the best. So soothing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate hearing that. Candace says, you are my mental superhero. I hope I can start making all your lives. Well, that's really awesome. So I don't want this to be a let's expand Bob's ego here, but no, I really appreciate it. It's awesome for me because it's one thing. I know that hundreds of thousands of people a month listen to my stuff, but there's a little bit of a separation. I record them here, I edit them here, I upload them, then I look at the comments, and so it's really cool for me to have these live interactions here with you and just get some firsthand feedback, and I periodically also want to do some and I've done them in the past, some calls on Zoom, or I'll provide a link. It's off of YouTube, but Zoom is a pretty widely used like webinar or kind of video conference kind of thing. And when I use Zoom, I can actually hear you and see you. So we can actually have real live interaction. Here we're kind of limited to you can see me and I can only see your text comments, but it's still pretty darn cool. All right. So I am going to continue reading some stuff, then go back to the comments. So here is, I'm going to butcher her name. She posts a lot of comments. Is it Vidhu Bala? I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right. She goes, how to get rid of overthinking and not fall back into old, repeating negative patterns. Well, she asked about overthinking. And so I totally get that. Can we all relate to that? You have a decision to make and you're weighing the pros and the cons, and you just kind of get wrapped up in this cycle of, okay, and you get into like this, was it decision paralysis or whatever? And she goes, repeating negative patterns. So you see there's like a recurring theme here. There's a pattern that we go back to. So one thing is if you're overthinking something, and I don't know because I don't have her here to interact and find out exactly, but I assume it's when you're alone. Here's what happens quite often is we have a decision to make, because I do this all the time. I have a pretty active mind. I've been, since I was a kid, I daydream and I do ponder things and write notes and journal and all this stuff. But when you're alone making a decision, which you have to do. It's good to be alone with yourself and your own thoughts. That's great. But sometimes you can if you find yourself getting into an overthinking pattern, you're just in your head too much. And so one of my recommendations that I wrote down here was, break that pattern by talking to someone, get another perspective. Have you ever had this happen to you where you're overthinking something, or you're obsessed about something, or you're worried about something, and then and all you've been doing is just going over and over and over it, usually the worst case scenarios in your head. Then you meet with a friend and they go, well, what's bothering you? Tell me about it. And you start talking. And once you start hearing yourself talk about it, you realize how ridiculous it sounds. And just in the expressing it to another person, you often will realize, oh, well, that was kind of dumb. Or you even come up with the solution as you're talking about it. Sometimes the other person can give you feedback, especially if it's a friend and someone that you trust. They can go, well, what I'm seeing here is, and they might give you some alternative ideas. And so get together one or more friends, and sometimes just the act of speaking it to another person diffuses it and helps you find the solution. So that's one thing that when you hear yourself talk about it, you sort of then realize, oh my God, I was really overthinking this. Here's another thing that you can do if you're overthinking things, is practice making quick decisions on minor things. And so, yeah, if it's a big thing like I'm going to quit my job, well, there's a lot of different circumstances that can come with quitting a job or leaving a relationship. Those are big decisions. So I totally get where you want to not make quick, rash decisions on big things. But quite often we take this pattern and apply it to everything. Like how you do anything is how you do everything. You may have heard that phrase. And so practice making quick decisions on minor things. Like if you're trying to figure out what, toothpaste to buy or whatever, and you're going to overthinking and you're checking all the labels, if you find yourself doing that, again, awareness is key. Just pick one and do it and celebrate. Oh, okay. I can make quick decisions. I don't have to overthink these little things. And eventually you develop a new pattern of making quick decisions and not overthinking the small, more trivial decisions. And then they will start to affect the bigger ones as you go along. So that's one thing. Practice making quick decisions on minor things where the consequences are not going to be that great. Again, choosing what to eat for dinner, what restaurant to go to or something. Also, this is again a reoccurring thing for all of us, and all these questions, because she mentions not only how do you get rid of overthinking, but not fall back into old repeating negative patterns. So here's just a little food for thought. We all have set points, especially if you've been around for a few years. We have these patterns, and some we're aware of, and some we're not even aware of. They're like the operating system. They're programs. They're just our habits that we've developed that are kind of on autopilot. And we have this emotional set point. We have this way of thinking, and our outlook is the set point. Then you probably have noticed this. You'll go to a workshop, or you'll read an inspiring book, or you'll watch a video, or listen to one of my affirmations, and you feel good in that moment. Or you come out of this weekend workshop feeling on fire and my whole life is going to change. And then you get back into life. Um, and you hopefully bring that with you. But quite often over time, we sort of start gravitating back to that set point. And so even though you have a moment of inspiration, the work is not completely done. So it's developing this practice. And so, and these set points are pretty deeply ingrained. So it takes time to reset them. That's why you got to be proactive, intentional about how you want your mind to view the world. And that's why I think my affirmations are so popular, is because people, by repeatedly listening to things like that and other sources that resonate with you, you're chipping away at that set point and moving it closer, slowly but surely, to a more positive stance, or at least however you define a set point that's going to serve you. So another phrase that I like is tell a new story. If you find yourself repeating negative patterns, or getting or saying I have anxiety attacks, which is kind of labeling yourself, or I have self-worth issues, tell a new story. Say I'm getting better and better every day. And so, yeah, that's tell a new story. One other thing, a couple other notes here, depending on where you are, to overcome overthinking. And again, this is something that's very personal to me, is if you live in a city where someone teaches an improv class or an improv comedy class, take it. Because in improv, you learn just to be free and playful and creative, and you don't have a whole lot of time. You have to think in the moment. You have to be present and react quickly. And that's great. I think that's a great way to start chipping away at that pattern. So wherever you live, see if there's an improv class. If you're in St. Louis, I hold them every Thursday night. If you ever come through town, it's a drop-in class. But even if you don't have anybody teaching that in your area, on YouTube, there's just tons of improv lessons, and maybe you can get together with friends and do these silly exercises to sort of just break that pattern to where you don't feel like I have to know the answer to everything. I don't need every piece of information just to move forward with the decision. And then another thing, which is kind of like related to the other things, is the other two topics that I've addressed, is instead of resisting it, also at what's the gift in overthinking? Okay, my mind is prone to think this way. Is there a gift in it? Can I accept and embrace it without just cursing it? And so maybe you do put some thoughtful consideration before you react to people, or before you. And so there is a blessing there, just like there's a blessing in the anxiety or the panic attack. What's your body trying to tell you? But again, embrace these aspects of yourself, and it diffuses them while you're moving toward changing or improving your set point. All right, I'm gonna check the comments here. Man, a lot of things have been coming in here. Lucinda's from the Bahamas. Would you please speak a little bit about how to get rid of anxiety and depression? Well, is it Hina or Henna? I don't know if you tuned in, speak a little bit about how to get rid of anxiety and depressive thoughts. I kind of addressed those earlier. I don't know if you missed the early part of this, so I don't want to repeat what I just said, but all this kind of ties into dissolving negative patterns. Embrace this, but the bottom line is to embrace them. Don't always fight them, but move forward in spite of them. You really help so many of us. Lauren, this is your affirmations have got me through a very dark time. I'm so glad I got to tell you that live. I am too. Thank you so much for sharing that in real time. I wish I could hear your voice saying that, and maybe on a Zoom call sometime we can do that. Bianca says she listens to them daily. I appreciate that. Is it I think it's Stasia. I can't remember if I've asked you. Thank you. So love you too, and thank you for the well, actually this hair is kind of a lazy haircut. I had a hat on earlier, and so I just ran some water and a brush through my hair. I like it to stand up a little bit more, but get some crazy hair. At least I have hair at my age. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. Candace, how often do I go live, and how come I don't get notifications telling me? If you're logged into your account, either on your phone or on a browser, you should get those notifications. I assume you're a subscriber. That's probably why you So you have to be a subscriber. And then I think when you're just logged in, and maybe you can hit the notification bell if you haven't done that on my channel to where it will send you notifications, not only of live, but new videos. I don't have a set schedule. I would like to do this more often. Yes, Tasia, I agree. Thank you. Look, is it Ketty? This looking dapper young man. So if nothing else, I want to do more lives just so I can get all these comments. This is really really nice. I appreciate that. Ellen Dugan. You should have Liz. I'm not sure who Ellen Dugan is. Let's see here. Just looking at these. Lisa. This is Lisa. Listening to your positive affirmations in the morning has helped me through my cancer diagnosis and many surgeries. Oh my God. Well, that's awesome to hear. It's important to get rid of negativity. Thank you. You are certainly welcome. That's a pretty deep, way to use them. I'm so glad that's been helpful. Mr. Charliers, I'm probably mispronouncing that. Listen to your affirmations during my wife's pregnancy. That this helped me. That's funny. The wife is pregnant and has to deliver, but he's you were getting anxiety about it. It's definitely real. Am I reading a book currently? I think Ellie also, wait, is that the same person who asked about the improv class? I'm sorry, I'm getting a little distracted here. Let me come back to some of these. I just don't want you to be sitting here watching me read comments. But there's a couple more things that I want to share with you. God, we're already at 36 minutes, but let's just, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and just read this quote here. So James Clear is a guy that I've been following. He's got a very popular blog, and he wrote a book called Atomic Habits. And I think this is a quote from it. I'm on his email list. And this really, I think, relates to what we've been talking about here. He says, it doesn't matter how successful or unsuccessful you are right now. What matters is whether your habits are putting you on the path toward success. You should be far more concerned with your current trajectory than your current results or your current circumstances. And I just love that, because a lot of times we beat ourselves up for, again, relating to this, oh my God, I have these patterns of self-worth. I have panic attack. I'm having a panic attack. Oh my God, I'm horrible. What's wrong with me? Or I'm overthinking. I'm keep going back to these negative patterns. So that's where you are now. The real question, I just love the way he puts this, is it doesn't matter how, and he uses the word successful or unsuccessful, but maybe I could rephrase that, say it doesn't matter where your set point is, your emotional set point is right now. What matters is whether you are taking steps, baby steps, on a regular daily basis, and listening to affirmations is certainly one of those ways that you can do it. In addition to other ways, journaling and meditating and all that good stuff. But are your habits putting you on a path toward moving that set point or diffusing that fear, that anxiety? You should be more concerned about where you're going than where you are. I love that. So if you ever kind of get down on yourself, but I'm still feeling these things, as long as you're moving in a direction that's going to serve you and serve other people, then you should pat yourself on the back. You should feel good about that. And little by little, we can move that set point. We can diffuse the angry dog or the bad dog voice that was mentioned earlier. And it's just so just stick with it. I'm going to check out a couple of things, tell you about one more things, and then I'm going to wrap this up here. Let's see here. I can't meditate. Yeah, Candace says she has trouble meditating. I get it. Yeah, a lot of people do. Maybe walking meditation, count steps as you walk, says Ellie. From the perspective of a woman who is I might not find myself here for both of us. Sun and Stars says in a relationship, well, she's in a relationship with a man, and if more men would be more open-minded when it comes to self-help. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Luckily, I hang out with some maybe evolved men or humans, and I think people that seek out inspiration and things like that. But I'm certainly aware of people In fact, my current girlfriend, a previous relationship that she was in, she the person, the guy made fun of her uh, going to spiritual practices or whatever, and so yeah, it helps to have a partner in your life that is supportive. Um, it's amazing to see so many ladies here. That's cool. Um, Indeed, yeah, actually, like close to 70% of my viewers are. I can tell with my analytics are female. So but I think this stuff is available and useful for all genders. Um, let's see here. Minutes listen. Okay, I was checking these out. One more quick thing here. And Candace, yeah, check those notifications. And awesome. So there's one thing I'm always kind of experimenting and trying new things, and I'm trying to evolve the channel. There's one thing that's going to be coming up. I just wanted to mention to you that's coming. Just that I'm going to experiment with. So YouTube is always evolving too, and offering different things. And since I recently hit 100,000 subscribers, and by the way, my silver plaque for hitting 100,000 is going to be coming in the mail. I'm going to do a special video with an unboxing and all that. I'm really thrilled. I'm at like 109,000 subscribers now. But what was I going to say? But YouTube, like, but you, as you get more subscribers and your channel becomes more prominent, they open up more features, I guess, for the creators like myself. And so I'm going to be experimenting soon. I don't know if it's going to be in the next week or two, but when you come to my channel, you may see, in addition, excuse me, to a subscribe button, you may see a join button. So there's this membership option. That you'll be able to join my channel or subscribe to my channel and pay a small fee to get some extra or exclusive content and other resources. So a couple of real quick things. I'll be creating some videos to explain this more, but I just want to let you know about it, kind of give you a heads up. Excuse me. One thing I want to make it clear up front, when you start seeing that, nothing about my channel is going to change. All the public videos that have been available for all these years are going to continue to be available. I will continue to post 2 new videos a week, which I've been doing on a regular basis for a long time. And those will be completely free and available to the public. So nothing's going to change as far as the access to my content and what I have been doing. I'm going to continue to do that. There'll be no charge. Of course, you may have to watch an ad, as if you're probably used to doing, unless you have YouTube Premium, which takes the ads away. But yeah, so nothing's going to change there. What will change is that people who become members and pay a small fee, there'll probably be 2 or 3 different levels. We'll get some bonus content. I'll be creating extra stuff and having some extra perks for people that want to support me in that way. So why would you want to do this? Well, one is to say thanks, and if you have and they're just small. We're talking small amounts, a few dollars or so a month. You want to support my efforts, which will allow me to focus more on making this content. And actually, I'm really interested in increasing and improving the audio quality of these videos. That I think they sound pretty decent with what I have here, but I'm always looking to better things. And so if you just want to help me on that journey, that would be awesome. Because I do, in addition to YouTube, I do other things to make a living and support my family and all that good stuff. So if this will allow me to focus more on YouTube and these affirmations that are improving the lives of so many people, that's an awesome thing that you can do. But the other reason, and just doing me a favor, is to do yourself a favor, and you'll get extra inspiration. Again, there'll be some exclusive videos. I'll probably do some Q&As where I'll just take questions from my members and do exclusive Q&As or answer those topics. I'll be looking for input on what topics you want, so to see videos on. And so there'll be some extra perks and a little bit more direct access to me too, in different ways. I'm still listing out. You'll see once it goes live all the different perks at the different levels. But it's just something that I'm going to throw out there since YouTube is offering it, and see how you respond. But that's something that'll be coming around the pike in the next week or two. So again, don't think that I'm going to be hiding everything behind a paywall. Nothing's going to change. All the stuff that's still always been available will continue to be 2 videos a month will be outside of this membership thing. I'll just be doing extra stuff. Okay. So just looking at a quick look here before we wrap things up. And let's see, your affirmations are maybe better. The affable monks live are sending love from India. Thank you. I appreciate you too. You're welcome, Liz. Hi, Tez. Terry Miles says, thank you, Bob, for the positivity. Eva is watching from Denmark. Candace, thank you. You said you definitely have my support. I appreciate that. And cool. And Everything Beautiful Jewelry says, I'd love some affirmations for business. Actually, if you, I don't know if you can't really just search my channel, but I actually have at least 1 or 2 videos. There's the affirmation one specifically for like business and an entrepreneur type stuff. You hopefully can find it there. You have custom emojis for members. Yes, I had to create some. There's badges, and then there's custom emojis. I threw some together, but I'll probably have to redesign those at some point. It says, hello, dear Bob. I found $40 before I finished listening to the 7-day money challenge. Thanks a lot for sharing your positivity. So yeah, and Balbino says, tell us about your personal history with law of attraction. So anyway, I'm not going to be able to do that now, maybe in the next live, because I'm wrapping up now. We're at 45 minutes. So I will keep that in mind for next time. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thanks for your positive comments. I mean, it's what fuels me to do this more and more. And I really appreciate the feedback. I love interacting live. And so I'll find more opportunities to do this with you. Have an awesome day. Have an awesome weekend. Let's talk again real soon. I'm going to sign off for now. And as I always like to end my videos, this is Bob Baker saying so long for now. Bye.